Hot 107.9, it's your boy B Hot Radio Shouted. We live from 285 right now at Main Street Studios, man. I got the big homie, the OG, the legend, Uncle Luke in the building, man. What's going on with it, boss?
What's going on, man? How you feeling, man?
I mean, feeling good, feeling great. I mean, I see you got the book on deck, man.
Yep,
I mean, the book of Luke. I mean, break it down to me, man. What's going on with it?
Hey, man, it was important to do this book, man, because people need to understand the history of the South.
Yeah.
And they need to understand the history of Miami.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they need to understand the things that I did and some of the things that we paved the way, you know, for people to be able to say what they're saying on the records right
Yes,
now.
sir. Yes,
they need to know the story about me going to the Supreme Court, going to jail for hip-hop.
Exactly.
You know, ain't nobody really did that. And my story ain't never been told.
Mm-hmm.
You know, people ain't really telling it like that on the VH1s, the BETs, and all those networks of the world. So I thought it was important to let people know that it wasn't no Southern hip-hop until I started way back then and putting out the first hip-hop artists in the South and like I say, going to jail and talking about Miami. You know, people come to Miami all the time, but they don't know the history.
Yeah.
They don't know Miami looked like Atlanta at one point.
Yeah.
You know, Miami was black. Black people built Miami.
That's right.
You feel me? Until they, you know, brought people down to take over Miami. You know, some of those islands when people go to South Beach, they ain't never, you know, they'll never know until they read this book that African Americans couldn't be on the beach after 6 o'clock.
Oh, man.
You feel me? So, and some of the islands over there, black people own those islands.
Yeah.
You know, people don't know that. And so I kind of take you on a journey.
Mm-hmm.
You know, my life story, I could have picked it up and just, you know, started out, you know, young DJ, then open a record company, then, you know, go to jail, then do that. Nah, that would have just been too generic.
Yeah.
I needed to get into people's mind.
Yeah.
You know, because I wanted to be an educational tool for young people.
Yeah.
You know.
What was it like coming up at that time having to deal with that kind of discrimination and segregation when they weren't letting folks on that beach like that?
Man, it was rough. I went to high school on the beach, you know, and I talk about it in the book. You know, I was born over there.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, and I was still trying to ask my old girl, how did I get born? Was I born over there?
Yeah.
But then, you know, I went and played football over there and went to high school on the beach and still had to be off the beach. You know, and so during those times, you know, I talk about the times when African Americans, mostly Bahamians, built Miami.
Yeah.
You know, we're on the incorporation documents, you know, and I talk about, you know, the days with the Two Live Crew, the wild parties, the Freakniks. I talk about discovering Trick Daddy, Pitbull, coming to Atlanta, you know, when it wasn't new, when radio in Atlanta, you know what I'm saying? I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
Dude used to be on the radio in Atlanta talking about Son, God.
Oh, man.
Sounding like I was in New York.
Yeah.
You know, it was heavy and you heard, you know, only way you could hear a song, you had to go to, you know, some Atlanta music, you had to go to Sharon Showcase.
Yeah.
So, you feel me? So I had to do this book, you know, because, you know, no disrespect to anybody else in the South, you had to do this book first because, you know, here I'm at the forefront of this.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and it's important for people to know the history of, you know, what what I laid my body on the line. People ain't want no Southern hip hop. You know, everybody is all, you know, Kumbaya and dancing, the Russell Simmons and all that were fine. They hated us.
Yeah.
You know, with a passion. You know, we were getting kicked. We would do shows at Eric B. Rakim and actually give us 3 minutes to do a show. So when you read this book, you'll read about me having a big fight with RunDMC.
Yeah.
And that's when I made this song, We Want Some P.
Yeah.
That was basically because they were acting like peas. And I made the song, I made that song in Gulfport, Mississippi.
Yeah.
And we was on stage in the middle of a concert, sold out at the arena, and we get ready to go to blows.
Oh.
Because those are the things that happen to us, you know, because we weren't considered hip hop.
Yeah.
And it was like everybody was rebelling against us, and I talk about that in the book.
What was going through your mind? You already having to deal with the discrimination in your own hometown. Then you get into hip hop, you got to deal with it from your own people.
Exactly, discrimination in hip hop.
Exactly.
You know, they didn't. Let me tell you, you know, guys in New York was not having it. If you weren't from New York, you weren't where it's at.
Yeah.
You know, I remember, you know, and I talk about this in the book. I mean, Redman.
Yeah.
Redman, if you listen to one of his songs back in the days, it was like, you know, he used to make fun of us. like, hey, yeah, them country dudes, what's up, dog? What's up, dog? What's up, dog? You know, this was one of his interludes.
Yeah.
On his record. And so we had to fight. I had to fight Public Enemy manager in Savannah, Georgia. You know what I'm saying? Y'all ain't from New York. Y'all ain't hip-hop. Y'all ain't this. You know what I'm saying? So people need to hear that story. That's why I tell people, ain't no disrespect to nobody else doing no books and all that. But you need this. You need to hear this. You need to read this first. And every Southern hip-hop artist, I don't care what you need this in your life. You know what I'm saying? Because it just tells the story of the roads and the things that and the sacrifices that I had to make and others and people in my company had to make.
So with that being said, with that discrimination coming on in your hip hop experience, is that what led you to be an entrepreneur yourself?
Oh, no doubt about it. Because hey, look here, man, you a rapper from Miami. You ain't about to go to New York and get no record deal, even though I'm selling 500,000 records. Because the A&R guy didn't understand what we was doing.
Yeah.
So with the A&R guy not understanding what you doing and how you doing it, he can't come properly A&R your project. And then the marketing people are like, how we gonna market this? This is trash.
Yeah.
So I was basically forced to have my own record company. So I didn't say, okay, fine. You know, and I talk about it in the book. You know, hey, look, I had to then go manufacture my own product. I had to go into the pressing plant and stick the vinyl myself in the pressing machine because there wasn't so many pressing plants in Miami. I had to then put the records in the trunk of my car, you know, and then store them at my mom's house, store them at, you know, and then I bring the 2 Live crew there and they moved down to Miami and we was storing them in the apartment that we got for them, you know. People need to hear this story. I mean, it's a deep story. It's not just about, you know, it's some wild stuff in there, but it ain't about that.
It's deeper than rap.
It's deeper than rap.
I mean, with you having 2 of the members from 2 Live Crew being from New York, how was that for them making that transition into that Southern hip hop game, being where they were from?
Well, it was crazy. I mean, because, you know, the one guy who was in the group, Yuri V-Lot, you know, he was much more of a conscious rapper. He didn't want to do the adult stuff. Mr. Mix from California, you know what I'm saying? Me and him vibe. You know, we vibe real good. Mix, you know, me and Mix get together. We cook that thing up. You know, I'll come up with an idea, Mix come with the track, and then the dudes just come in. We tell them this is what you need to rap about. You feel me? And that's basically how we cooked it up. And so with them 2 guys, and you know, Marquise coming from upstate New York, you know, he got in the group after Yuri got out of the group, and then Chris was in the group. I mean, he was on whatever. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, you know, we made some great music, and Mix never really got the prestige that he should have always gotten as a producer.
That's right. Now, I mean, you look up, next thing you know, y'all banned in the USA, man.
Yeah.
Tell me about that. What was going through your mind? You thinking I'm just a young black man trying to make $1 out here. I'm already catching hell from all over the place, but now I got the U.S. government on my back, too.
I got the U.S. government on my back, and that was hardcore.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the thing. I mean, you know, just imagine, you know, just imagine you going to get ready to do a show and you got the police standing outside with guns and rifles, and you get ready to do a show, you got them on horses. They on top of the roof, cops in the building. You then, you know, you got to make a decision right then on the moment. Hey, look here, man, do I really believe in this? Am I really on this? Or should I just get in the car and run? You feel me? And I was never on that. It was like, yo, I'm going to jail for this.
Yeah.
You know, this is what I believe in, and I'm going to jail. And eventually, at one point, you know, federal judge Gonzalez, and I talk about in the book, he deemed one of our albums obscene. And that was the most important case in the history of hip-hop. Yeah. You know, I could have laid down. I mean, once he said the song was obscene, the federal judge, I wasn't going to jail. Yeah. You know, I wasn't about, you know, it wasn't a thing, oh, Luke need to fight this to go to jail. I was fighting at that point for hip-hop. Exactly. You know, because if I left that case law on the books, you know, any lawyer or any municipality would have been able to single out T.I. Oh, that's obscene. You know, because we already got case law. Yeah. You know, case law, Campbell versus the state of Florida. Yeah. You know, if you got any lyrics, lyrics remotely sounding like that, then they use that case law and then say, this is, you know, in this case law, this was the punishment, take it off the shelf. So at that point, I was like, nah, I ain't, no. I know this bigger than me, this bigger than rap. You know, if I don't fight this, Lil Wayne, you ain't singing the things you singing. Drake, you ain't singing what you singing. Meek, all the rest of these guys ain't singing what they're saying. MWA, y'all gonna have to shut it down too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So you hip hop for what you see right now, it would not be. You would not hear that kind of music if I just laid down.
What was it that gave you the strength to stand up, though? Because, I mean, them attorney fees had to been crazy, too, at the time, because that cost money to fight.
And crazy money.
Exactly.
And I talk about that in the book. And that's why the book is about this story. You know what I'm saying? We're having a conversation, in the book about the influence my dad had on me, the influence that my Uncle Ricky, you know what I'm saying, God bless his soul, he had on me. He taught me about Marcus Garvey, H. Rap Brown. He taught me about all these civil rights dudes, you name it, Martin Luther King. He taught me all that. He talked to me about some of the things that he was going through as a black man in the 60s and the 50s as well.
Yeah.
So the guy who they picked on, it was the right guy, because I already was educated to deal with the politics of the land, because just like my uncle, being an entrepreneur, eventually it was gonna come bother with me, because I'm a black man. I own my own record company.
That's right.
I ain't affiliated with no record company. Ain't no white guy getting no money out of this deal right here. I'm gonna be an easy target.
Yeah.
Like my uncle was. So then I became the target. Because at the same time I was doing the same. We were saying the same thing on the record. It wasn't no different than what Dice Clay was saying.
Yeah.
Because you had comedians like Red Fox, you name it, Dolomite,
Richard Pryor.
You had Millie Jackson singing the songs.
Yeah.
You feel me? So we wasn't the first, but we were hip hop. We were rap, and that was the whole thing. And see, people, and that's why I say the book is important for this book to come out right now. It's important for all hip hop lovers, especially people in the South. They need to read this book, and they'll get a clear understanding as the things that we had to go. It's almost like a slavery book.
Yeah.
Because we were technically enslaved.
Now,
we had to go sit in the corner and not be put on tours. You know what I'm saying? Dudes doing big old tours, and we done sold 1 million records, and we can't get on the tour because they wasn't having it.
Now, with that being said, how important was it for you to put your comrades on? You got the pit bulls, the trick dads, and putting them in the game.
Exactly, and that's so. And that thing there, I mean, and when you read the book, you'll hear the transition, and then you look at the timeline. When you look at the timeline, 1991, 1986. How many record companies was around in '86 that was putting their own artists on? The artists putting on. We revolutionized the whole game, because what happened was people didn't say, man, they saw me on the cover of the Source magazine. They looked and said, man, I want to, damn, this dude's saying something. And then when guys start opening up to us, like the Kool Moe D's and all them other world, and the Jazzy Jeff and Fresh Prince and all, when they, man, how you doing this? And so, I was putting them up on game.
They're on the game now.
You feel me? So then guys then went back and were like, yo, we want this same thing. And so that's when you started getting the LaFace records.
Yeah.
It became, those guys were happy by giving Atlantic, giving CBS, giving all these companies, giving Def Jam, who owned by CBS and all. They were happy by being on those labels.
Yeah.
So then now you got everybody saying, hey, look, we want to start our own label, but then, even the industry, they say we got to make an adjustment, because this dude, Luke, who we really trying to blackball out the game, he done messed up the game, because dudes now want to be entrepreneurs. So now you got Cruz, you got the Cash Moneys and all these people of the world. You got So Def, you got LaFace Records, you got Bad Boy, you got all the Masterpiece stuff and all that. You got Suave House, you got all these. And so we're at the forefront of that. And so when I tell people they need to understand the history, we were doing that, but then what the industry did was they did it slick. They say, man, these dudes want their own company. This would be good for us on one hand, and they could put their other guys on, but we can't let them have the same ownership of the masters like Luke. And so that's the part that them guys did not get, because that's when they shut me down, and they shut my voice down, and they blackballed me out the entire business, because I done hip them to the game of being their own entrepreneurs. But then the other part of that, you need to own your own masters.
Yeah.
They didn't get that, so the industry then gave them guys them production deals. And they say, oh, you got a label. It's called Bad Boy. But we own your masters. Woo. So then they basically gave you, we'll let you produce 10 artists, and now your deal is worth $100 million. Mm. You feel me? Yeah. So everybody had them kind of deals.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? LaFace and all of them had them kind of deals. So they did not understand the other part because they say we gotta shut this dude's voice down.
Yeah.
We gotta blackball this dude. And that's basically how, you know, you don't see no stories about me. You don't see me on no Lifetime Achievement. You don't see me, we're talking about the history of this music, this guy. You ain't never gonna see that.
But see what makes me angry about that though, Luke? Why don't your people step up and come to bat for you like you went to bat for them and say, you know what, we gotta celebrate this guy just like we celebrate everybody else?
But the crazy part about that, it's the same people in the industry that the same guys who are running the BETs and all them networks of the world, they're actually the same guys who were against me when I first started. They're the same guys who, when I sent them a video of a party, and it wasn't a video of somebody standing by a train with graffiti on the wall and breakdancing, they were like, "This ain't hip hop. We ain't playing this. We ain't playing that." So they were forced to play these things because then now you got the video jukebox. You got all these other avenues of people. So them people really hate me.
Yeah.
Them dudes don't like me at all. So I understand that because I forced them to do something to actually change the game, so they can't really tell a story, because if I tell a story, then I got to tell a part where I was the one that was trying to blackball your butt.
Yeah.
You feel me? I was the one sitting up there when you sent the video in. I said, no, we ain't playing that on BET. No, we're going to do interviews. We're going to get Salt and Pepper. We're going to get Kid and Play. We're going to get all these people to talk bad about them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So they were orchestrating this stuff themselves, and like I talk in the book, and everybody asked me, well, who was with you? Mm-hmm. It was pretty much maybe two people. It was one, my lawyer. The other one was Bruce Springsteen. It is all-American white boy. You know,
that's how it is sometimes, though.
The man was like, look, man, I understand what you're going through. You can use my song. I said, look, I want to do banned in the USA, because that's how I feel right now. I'm banned in the USA. And he was like, look, man, you can use the song, and you can use the song, man, and you ain't even gotta pay me for it.
Oh.
So I mean, that was a cool thing.
Yeah. Now, with that being said, and we talking about the love, I know you got a lot of love in the A, man. What was it like when you came up here for Freaknik and your song was the soundtrack to the city and all of the booty shake clubs and regular clubs in the city, man?
Oh man, coming to Freaknik, that was the greatest thing ever. I mean, it's just, at the time of me going and, you know, I'm being the party man, we done won all the cases. We done went to the Supreme Court. We done got the other cases overturned on appeal. Yeah. You know, and then now you got this nice party called Freaknik, which it should have left the name Greeknik. But they messed up when they called it Freaknik after the freaking started in them tents out in the park. And then now they need an ambassador. They needed a king. Yeah. So then here come me. You know, I'm the wild freaky man. But then it was some great times, man. Freaknik was a big party. It turned out, I mean, it started out as one thing. It gravitated to being almost like a Southern reunion, giving people opportunity to come to Atlanta and enjoy it. And then, with the friction between the police and the people, it became a rebellion type thing. It became F the police, y'all messing with us, and then when the city did not embrace it and the city did not come together and say, let's embrace this thing, let's take this thing and organize it. When they didn't do it, but they, just wanted to harass kids, and eventually it fizzled out and it got shut down, which could have been a great event. It could have been something along the lines of the Black Expo if they would have embraced it and organized it. That's all these. I mean, young folks they gonna party, have fun. Let them do what they got to do. I mean, white kids do it. Exactly. All day. I mean, go to a football game. They're on top of houses. Go down there to UGA, University of Florida. They getting drunk, jumping off the roof of the house. They sitting on the house. You know what I'm saying? They riding around with straws, with tubes in the stadium. I mean, ain't nobody put them in jail, but I guess, you know, it becomes issue when black kids want to enjoy themselves.
Yeah. Another event, man. I was talking to my big homie T-Mo Goody, man, that Jack the Rapper. What was that like coming up to the city and turning up with that?
Oh, Jack the Rapper was something else. I mean, I guess I'm probably one of the ones who destroyed Jack the Rapper.
Oh, man, say it ain't
which
so
I'm not happy about. But Jack the Rapper, let me tell you about that. Yeah. And I talk about it in the book. You know, I learned so much. I met the one of the first radio promotion men at Jack the Rapper, and he told me something way back then. His name was Dave Clark. And he told me, man, he said, man, you know, it's a lot of people, you know, I'm sitting at the bar, I'm a young dude, I come to Jack, I got my records, and you know, I'm a nobody, I'm nothing, you know, I got my little records, I'm trying to get the DJs, play my record, you know, I'm hustling. I'm just like the, you know, the dude outside the grocery store, hey man, I got my CD. That's me. You feel me? I'm in there, you know, trying to get anybody here to hear my song. And that dude sat me down and he said, look here, man, you know, all these dudes running around here. He said, man, one thing about it, everybody ain't in the music business. Everybody think they're in the music business. They're in the music, in the business of music. You are not in the music business until one person purchase your record. That is when you're officially in the business. So you work hard and strive to get people to buy your records, and that's when you're official. You know, it's a lot of people out there got records and ain't nobody buying them. You ain't in the business. So that right there just, you know, that had me on a whole nother level. And the crazy part of Jack the Rapper I talk about in the book was when we had the big fight with Snoop Dogg them and Death Row. You know, when we had the little beef going on, and then they eventually came down to Jack the Rapper. It was downtown and had them grew big out of the Marriott out there by the airport. They got to be in this big thing. They had to go to the big hotel downtown, and unfortunately, I tried, you know, I talk about in the book, I tried to talk to Jack and his wife, not his wife, but daughter Jill, and say, look, you need to arrange a sit down with me and Suge Knight, because if they're going to come down here, you know, there's so many people from Miami. I got so much love in Atlanta. It's going to be an ugly sight. You know, because we got this beef, and they saying this about me, and I'm saying this about them. It's going to get crazy. And they were like, oh, we ain't got to worry about that. Ain't nobody going to do nothing. And then before you know it, everybody was stabbed up, cut up. Everything in the world was thrown out the rooms, all down. It was crazy. It was a melee.
Oh, man.
No, and I talk about it in the book. So that's why, you know, people like Meek Mills, you need to read this book. If you want to really know anything about real beef, I mean, this is an educational tool for you know, because I don't know what they got going on now. You know, that's like rated PG 7.
PG-13.
I mean, you want to know how to deal with beef, you know, we talk about all that in the book.
I mean, how did you feel when you really had to get violent to deal with your beef back then, though? Because on top of that, you're dealing with the hate coming from all over the place. And I know it had to breed a lot of anger. You see what I'm saying? So by the time folks do come around with that nonsense, being from the South, you know, we got the hospitality, but we are also sit your ass down.
We'll sit you down.
You see what I'm saying?
We'll touch you up and sit you down. You know, and that was the whole thing. I mean, you know, me and Snoop, you know, I don't want nobody to get me and Snoop, we cool. I met Dr. Dre one time. Easy and Cube. Them was my dudes. You know, and like, you know, they got the movie out. I encourage everybody go see the movie, because that's what it's all about. They got their family and that, and again, going back to the, you know, to that whole beef thing, you know, when I talk about it, it's like the whole South rise up. When some dudes say something about a Southern guy. You know what I'm saying? And especially, you know, people on the street know the history. They knew what I was doing in Atlanta, Miami, you know, Charlotte, Fayetteville, South Carolina. They knew, okay, Unc is that guy. You know what I'm saying? And they, you know, the Lil Petey Pablos and everybody of the world and the Gips and all them, man. Okay, man, this man turning this thing up for us. You know, so guys on the street already know. Hold on, man. So then when the dudes came down here, it was an ugly sight. I think the whole South jumped on this. You know, they were catching planes at the late night trying to get up out of this place here. But we ended up eventually squashing it, because, you know, it was like, okay, you know, hey, you know, Suge, I'm not one of them guys who you roughhouse. You know, unfortunately, in my life, something I ain't proud of. I was about that life, for real. I didn't, you know, all my brothers that went to college, I was the one that didn't go to college.
Yeah.
So, you know, I was in the game hard like that. So, you know, and that's why I tell people who rapping about that, most guys who rapping about that life ain't really about that. Yeah. They just hear the stories of other people, you know, and they hear the folk tales, and then they go to spitting them kind of lyrics. I mean, you go pull my criminal record, you'll be like, oh Lord, not the party, man. You know, I ain't trying to do no songs about that.
Yeah,
I'm doing songs about total opposite, man. By being out of jail, and what you want to do, have fun, party, you know, make love and do whatever you gotta do.
And I tell folks that all the time, because when you from the streets or you from the hood and you see the pain and you see the devastation that goes along with the game, you really ain't trying to celebrate that kind of a lifestyle. You're trying to get folks to go in the opposite direction of that by all costs.
Oh no, I mean, hey, I got some albums for days if I want to rap about that. But again, that's snitching on yourself.
Yeah. You
feel me? And so that's why I deal with so many kids, and I you know, because I tell them about my story, and I'm like, yo, man, you don't want to live that life.
Yeah.
And I could tell them that because, you know, when you look at my arrest record, it's about 20 arrests on the deep. You know, you name it. Shoot up, shoot, fight, gang, whatever. You know what I'm saying? So I tell kids about that, hey man, there ain't nothing cute about that. You know, get your mind right, use that same energy and put it into something positive. And that's why, you know, I'm just so happy that this book is out. HarperCollins,
that's right,
published it. You know, one of the biggest publishing companies, if not the biggest book publishing company in the country, and they're gonna put it in and get it to everybody where they can be able to purchase it. And I just want them to read the story, man. I want everybody to read the story here, so they can, because it's an educational tool more so than anything.
Speaking of education, what do you think about the business now and with it being digital? What advice do you got for the young guy that's trying to come up and do what you did back then in this digital age, though?
You know, it's a good and it's a bad, because I think, you know, I had to come up in the age where I couldn't get a record player on the radio. Nowhere, not even in my hometown. You know what I'm saying? So I couldn't get a record played. I couldn't get a video played.
Yeah.
You know, things I talked about earlier and things I talk about in the book. So I had to rely on the underground. I had to rely on Sharon Showcase to play the record and get it hot. And me come there and do a show. You know what I'm saying? In other clubs, in Atlanta and other places like that, college campuses and all that, dorm rooms and everything, frat parties and all. I had to rely on those type of promotions. And so I look at the digital thing and not mainstream. That's a good thing. You can put your record on YouTube, your video on YouTube. You can put your record on iTunes, because it was difficult for me to get a record in Turtles and get a record in the major chain stores. So now you can just go to iTunes, and you got a hot record, everybody can download your song. You might not get on the front page of iTunes and some of these search engines, you know, the Spotify and all them. You know, I don't know how they let them trick the game up like that. You know, but again, you can still be successful in the business, and you know, it's more easier now than it was back then.
Yeah.
Because you could have a record, and if you didn't get no independent retail stores, the mom and pop stores to put your record in them stores, them big chain stores wasn't having it. Unless you was on a major label. And so, you know, they had to do things to stop this independent, you know, flow. I mean, and people don't realize when Atlanta started really getting hot and the South took off, like I told the guy Hank Shockley at the New Music Seminar when I went there, and I was the only record company in the South, and I stood up and he was like, oh, Southern hip hop, that's a joke. You know, it's like 1,000 people in there, that's a fad. You know, and I stood up in the room and I told the dude, I said, look here, man, it was 1,000 people. I was like, look, the South is gonna rule hip hop. Before it's all said and done. How you mean? And all the people in the middle of New York, everybody was like, oh, and hip hop country.
Yeah.
Hey, look, I ain't gonna apologize for it, because you got Brooklyn, Bronx, Queens, you got 7 boroughs. We got Atlanta, Charlotte, South Carolina, we got Texas, we got Miami, we got Florida, we got Alabama, we got
Memphis.
We got we're big. We control the half of the country, boss. You know what I'm saying? And once these dudes get on to what I'm doing, and it's just like anything. You know, and back then I always said, I like Converse in Miami. It's kids in Atlanta and all these other places like Converse, and they gonna be like, man, if this dude could do it, we could do it.
That's right.
And so guys start popping up from all over the place. I remember, you know, that's what made me and Gip and CeeLo, and all them dudes, we used to call it sitting by the campfire. Yeah. And we just sit there and just vibe and just talk about, you know, and them dudes like telling me how I inspired them, you know, and it's, you know, it's always been amazing. So, you know, that's why I say, man, it's the proper time to put this book out. You know, you couldn't have put it out way back then. You know, it would have only been half because we were still, this book was still being made. You know, now life is settled down. I'm married. Got the wife. You know, my wife is a you know, big time NFL football agent. You know, an attorney, and you know, we got restaurants. You know, I'm still running a record company. You know, mostly digital. All the product that, you know, in my catalog, and you know, I'm enjoying myself running my youth program. That's right. You know, and you know, I ain't fighting like I used to. You know, so they need to hear about all these war stories. You know, everybody talking about how the South was won and all these books. This that's the true story right there. This how Southern hip hop was won. How it was discovered.
Question though, are we gonna turn that book into a screenplay and then a movie?
Man, we got to.
Talk to me.
We got to. I mean, because when you read it, I mean, you gotta just, I mean, sit down and just go through it. When you start reading, you ain't gonna be able to put it down.
Now answer me this though: the women, the beefs. How was you able to stay alive during all that? Because in hip hop, a lot of folks don't even make it past that and through that.
Well, again, with me, when you look at the book, I mean, it was like me. When I first got in the business, it was like a freshman going to college. You know what I'm saying? I wowed out. The first couple of years, I was all here, there, everywhere. Girlfriend here, girlfriend there. You know, I'm just getting it in. But then, at the end of the day, I always was the businessman. You know, I had to run the company. I couldn't be laying up with girls all week, you know, getting high, you know, wilding out. I had to go back to the office, you know, on Monday and create these strategic plans of getting records put in stores over here, you know, creating parental advisory stickers. That sticker that you see on the record right now, people don't even realize that I created that. Crazy. You know what I'm saying? And getting a record on the radio, going to, okay, I got to just, you know, be more versatile as an executive. You know, because now I'm executive every day of the week. I got to get an R&B group. So let me go discover H-Town. You know, go to Houston and these guys named the Jet, and everybody saying H-Town. They say, nah, y'all name H-Town. Y'all gonna rep y'all town, y'all city. You feel me? And so now I gotta be a little more versatile. Here, Poison Clan. You know, got these dudes right here. They doing the hardcore stuff. So I don't want y'all to be just on the sexual stuff like Two Live Crew is that. Now I need to be a little more versatile as a company. You know, back then, Big Pun, you know, Puerto Rican rapper. I'm from Miami. You know, it's a lot of Cubans here. Let me find me a Cuban rapper. So then now I got to go find Pitbull. You know, I go discover him. So I'm doing all this every day. So I ain't really had no time to be laying up with a whole bunch of chicks. And then when I saw them doing what they were doing on stage and dudes getting up on stage and doing what they were doing, you know, I was like, look, I'm going to be real picky. You know, I'm not going to get high on my own supply.
That's right.
You feel me? Which is my girl dances. We ain't doing that. And, you know, and the other thing is, you know, I see chicks getting on stage, dudes getting on stage. You know, obviously dudes got to date these chicks. You know, I'm seeing all this wild stuff. You know, I always dated the total opposite. That's right. You know, I always liked the total opposite. Whether I got the girl, because the girl automatically thought I was something of what I was promoting and marketing and putting out in the life I was living. They didn't know I wasn't really like that. So that was my little thing. It was like, the girl who I get to be a special girl. You feel me? And that girl to see me for who I am and not necessarily see me as the entertainer. That's right. So I had women in my life, and they were like, I like your loss because you think I'm like that. But I'm really not. You let your friends tell you I'm really not. You feel me? And and that's how it always ended up being.
I can definitely dig it. Uncle Luke,
man.
Appreciate you coming through this thing, boss. Wish you nothing but the best and much success. Be High Radio, shout it. It's Hot 107.9, man. Let's go.
Yep.